Hi, I'm Dave, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be packing up the hot tub for the winter because where we are in England we're likely to get below 0 temperatures and the water will freeze, which will both damage the plastic of the hot tub itself and the motor pump system as well, so that all wants to be drained and put away for the winter to keep it warm. It is nice still to have a hot tub running in cooler temperatures, and if you can make sure that it doesn't freeze during the night, then you can leave it out all year and it'll be incredibly nice to have a hot tub in winter in the cold air, so you get the contrast. It's going to be very nice and going to have some health benefits as well apparently. But we're not going to bother that this year, so we're going to pack it away and give it a good clean. So what we'll need is the cleaning kit and some of the extra bits that came with the hot tub when you first set it up. The two little black bungs go on the inside of the filters so we can take the mechanism out and drain it without spilling water everywhere. We can empty it in a controlled manner. And then there's this hose attachment, which what you do is I just cut a very short bit length of hose with a standard attachment because we've got a drain right there, but of course have this to the length of your drain. I just cut an old bit of hose. When that goes in the hot tub, you connect that and that then goes straight down my drain. So that's very helpful, it means we don't make too much mess. Unfortunately, we haven't used it for a little while, so it has gotten a little bit dirty, so I'm going to give it a good scrubbing and a good clean now, and then show you how to go about cleaning it and taking it apart. Cleaning the top, I'm just going to use the brush and this and some warm soapy water just to get the worst of it off, so it's nice to pack away and it doesn't rot and get any bad smells over the winter. Just warm soapy water and give it a good scrub. Before you do this, make sure you've got the ties nice and tight so this doesn't sink into the hot tub, because then you'll just be washing dirt into the water, which you then got to clean the inside as well. So just do that first of all, make sure it's all tied up nice, which it should already be. And obviously give the tools a good clean when you finish with those as well. You don't want any bacteria festering over the winter period. Now, trick, don't disconnect all of these. Just loosen the ones at the back and disconnect the ones at the front, because that way you can then lift and pour it out towards your drain. If you've got the extra heat liner, take that out as well. Again, you want to give that a good clean. But for now we can put that out of the way and start working on the inside. Get your two bungs, your hose attachment and the hose. First of all, you need to remove the chlorinator and your filter. Just put those to one side. Now these go on the inside where they just detached. You can see the two black caps that I've just put on, and if you come around the side you'll be able to see what we're going to do here. Now I just need to undo these connections here, all three of them. Now a bit of water will come out, but that's absolutely fine, it's just what's in the hoses between the hot tub and the pump unit. Obviously before you do this, make sure you've turned off and unplugged the pump unit itself. Once you've done that, you can just move that away, and now you can get your hose attachment, put it to the bottom one, clip your hose in, lift up your drain cover, and just shove your hose in there. Make sure there's no kinks in the hose, and then on the inside take out the bung, put that to one side and let it drain for about 4 hours. And whilst you're letting it drain, you can continue cleaning the outside of the hot tub, the lid, the inside. It just utilises time that little bit better. Or of course you could just go in and have a nice warm cup of tea. Also, don't forget to make sure that you've taken your remote out if you've left that in there. I wouldn't recommend leaving it in there overnight anyway, but just in case you have, before you pack things away, Make sure you take that out, take out the batteries so that they don't create contact if the buttons accidentally get pushed, and carry on with the pack up. If you've kept all the cardboard boxes, you should be able to pack it away back in the original big cardboard box. I'm not going to be showing you how to do that because I'm sure that's going to be a tricky nightmare. First of all, what you need to do is take out your pocket insert from your top. And you can put your top to one side. Make sure there's nothing on the ground that's going to burst it because it is still vulnerable. You don't want to get anything sharp underneath it. And then give this a quick wipe down. Both the outside and inside you want to get clean. Again, just using warm soapy water. Once you've done that, you flip over, do the outside. Take another quick clean. If you want, you could do a 2-bucket wash where you have 1 bucket for your clean soapy water and another bucket for rinsing out the brush once you've gone over it. It will help speed up the process a little bit because you've got a clean bucket of water all the time for doing the wash. I've now got 2 buckets, one for dirty water, one for clean water. In the clean one, I'm going to be putting a dirt guard, which is a plastic moulding which just sits in the bottom of your bucket, and it allows the dirt to fall through and then stay at the bottom so it doesn't get back on your sponge, which is absolutely excellent for washing cars and motorbikes. And so the idea is that once you've cleaned the surface, rinse it out in the dirty bucket and then go into your clean bucket, and you've got clean water just going on, and so you're not cross-contaminating each wash. I'll put a link for the dirt guard or dirt trap, whatever it's called, in the description below because I think they are really good, and it's the basic original one that comes out best in a lot of the reviews, which is why I've got that one. Dirty water rinse, clean water for wash. It does work better. It's a little bit extreme doing it for this, but it's something I wanted to try before I bother buying a second bucket and dirt trap, because they do recommend that you can put the dirt guard in both dirty and clean water, or one or the other. But when I'm washing my motorbike, I kind of want to make sure it gets scratch free. In case you're wondering, I have put soap in both buckets. I can see a difference. The sponge is definitely cleaner doing it this way, and the water going back on is cleaner. You don't want to scrub too hard, but hard enough to get the dirt off. If you've gone and bought the pool cleaning kit, which I described in the original video, and again we'll be linking to in this one, it's the sort of correct toughness foam, so it's not going to cause any damage to it, but still strong enough to give it a good scrub. Obviously don't push with all your strength on it, just a little light pressure, and work your way around the whole surface. The fun thing is going to make sure everything gets nice and dry, because that's going to be a very, very big issue. Any moisture left over the winter months will start allowing everything to rot and smell and go green and horrible, and could ruin it completely for the next season. So before you pack it away, make sure everything is completely and utterly dry. Let it air dry for a while, towel dry it, get a paper tissue, and just make sure every drop of moisture is off, because you don't want any moisture at all. It will cause it all to rot. Just with any camping equipment as well, if you've ever gone camping, you've got to make sure your tents and sleeping bags are all perfectly dry. Same principle happens with this. I know it's plastic, but you still don't want the moisture in there. It will ruin everything. Okay, whilst I was just picking this up and moving it around, I don't know if you can hear it, I don't know if the microphone is able to pick that up, but there is water moving out on the inside of there. That's probably due to condensation from the cold air, warm air from the hot tub, and just causing the water molecules to form from condensation, because obviously if there's a hole in there for water to get into, that would have been completely deflated. So I think some of the air's just turned into water molecules in there. Not to worry, but again, try and dry the inside out as best as possible. That could be a bit more challenging, but if you can't get that bone dry, well, I guess you can't, but give it as best chance as you can. Definitely make sure the outside's nice and dry, and then just leave the plug open to allow any moisture to evaporate. Okay, whilst all that's drying, I thought I'd come into the kitchen and show you how to clean the filter and the chemical disperser. You should be doing this at least once a month, if not every week or every 2 days, I think the instructions said. I found I was able to push it a little bit more than that and just monitor the chemicals carefully. But we'll go through the cleaning process, which if you haven't been doing, this is how you should be doing it. The chemical cleaner isn't too serious, that's just very basic. Pop it open, and they say don't touch these with your hands because they're obviously sort of toxic chemicals to help clean off bacteria, but either the bromine or chlorine, it's not that bad. I'd find somewhere that you can put it to dry, because once this is dried out you can put it in your pot and you can count on using it next year. So I'll just quickly rinse out the soap dish, pop it in there, and just make sure I give the soap dish a good clean before I do that. Or you can just chuck it away, but you're probably not meant to put it in the bin for health and environmental reasons. Just give this a good rinse off. Don't need to do too much more with that because it's got the antibacterial chemicals in there, which is the chlorine or bromine, whichever you're using. This is just to give it a bit of a rinse, that's all that is. The main one is your filter. It's always best to actually take the whole block off than just taking the filter out, because if you take the whole thing out, all the dirt the filter's trapped stays in here a bit better, and so they're not dropping dirt back into your hot tub when you're just doing a normal clean. And then you just give the quick outside a rinse. Undo the screw top. Again, just give it a quick rinse off. Pop to one side. Now the top will lift off. Now I've got an upgraded from the paper filters to a sponge filter, which seems to work a little bit better. I think the paper filters take out finer dirt and more the soapy sort of scum, but they do get blocked very quickly. So this doesn't quite filter as strongly, but it does do a very, very good job, and it's very easy to clean, which is a big, big plus. Again, you just rinse the casing out, make sure you've got any hair and scum that's trapped in it. Again, pop to one side. And now the sponge, this is where you can actually add some soap and cleaners to it to actually really give this a good rinse out. So I just a bit of hand soap, bit of dish soap, doesn't really matter, and just give it a good squeeze and rinse out like you would do any other sponge. You can turn it inside out as well to get to the back, but that probably stretch the sponge and shorten its life, but they last quite a long time. I've got two of them, so I've always got one in the hot tub whilst I'm cleaning the other, and so I can easily do a quick change, so there's little to no downtime with the hot tub whilst I'm cleaning the sponges. So I found that if you've had a party and you've had people around, you definitely need to clean the filter after you've had sort of 4 or 5 people in the hot tub for an evening. And so what I just do is I take the sponge out, put the new one in, and put the old one just outside down the alleyway, and forget about it for the night, and then clean it the next day. But if you wanted to jump into the hot tub straight away and I hadn't yet cleaned this filter, there's still a whole good clean filter in there. Just nice and convenient and easy. You might need to do this several times depending on how dirty the filter got. Obviously the cleaner you can get the filter, the better for each use. If you're going to store them, make sure they dry fully before you put them in storage. Also, the soaps I'm using are anti-bac hand soaps, and the idea of the washing up liquid that I'm using as well is because this also trap oils and grease from your skin, so this will hopefully help break that up a little bit more than normal hand soap. But again, it's nothing too harsh. If you had the paper sponges, you can still clean them out. You can get special tools to go with little rubber fingers to go down the grooves, or you can just gently tease them yourself. But I found that took quite a long time to get between the paper fins, and this is just so much quicker. Again, I'll put a link for these in the description below. Again, once you're happy with that, just put that to one side and allow that to dry, and then clean the back part plate. That's just simple, rinse off, and then once you're finished, I'd give the whole work surface a quick spray down with anti-bac as well, just in case there's anything that's been left over. You don't want it on your work surface in the kitchen. So if you've got an outside sink or workshop sink, best to use that. Just give the pump unit a quick tip, make sure all the water's out of it, and then we can clear the pad, just get that clean. Again, put this someone to dry so that there's no moisture left on that. And now using the 2 bucket wash mechanism, we can clean the side of the hot tub as well. Now we've got quite a bit of sand and dirt inside the pool, probably just from our feet getting in and out, although I did use ducking boards and a foot bath before we got in. It's just one of these things. So cleaning that out, probably going to be using a dustpan and brush or something. If you've got a hot tub, battery powered pumps, which will probably be absolutely excellent for doing that. We haven't got one, so I can't say what they're like, but I can imagine that that might actually be a very simple and easy thing to use, and I'll probably be getting one next year. Getting there now. Also, you don't want to have it too full of water if you do lift it up, because that would be putting too much strain on the seams, but if there's a little bit of water left in it, you could probably use that to tip it up. I'll start cleaning the inside now, again with the 2-bucket method, just to get rid of any algae that might have built up on there. Again, this should have been regular maintenance that you have been doing with your hot tub. I'll leave the rest of that to empty, and then I'll come back to this later on. We can now see that it's gone to the bottom drain and it's almost past there, but you can also see that there's actually a bottom drain plug just for emptying the hot tub just there. So we're going to pop that open and empty it from there now, just to get the last bits of water out before we start hosing the inside down and cleaning it. Yep. We'll just pop that out and give it a little bit of a lift. Yeah, it comes straight out of there. Right, so we can go to the other side and give it a little lift to help it get out when it gets to the very, very low, but for now we'll just leave it like this and let it drain out the bottom. Hopefully that will get almost all of it out, and then we can just hose it down and clean the bottom and sides properly. But once we've got the bottom open, we can use the brush and actually scrape some of this stuff towards that outlet, and that might actually help drain it out as well whilst it's going, and hopefully the flow of water will just suck that out the plug, just making it a little bit easier to clean. Okay, using a magic dry cloth, I'm just drying off the inside of the lip of the pocket for the top. Pay special attention to the seams to make sure they're dry, because that's the most likely place any rot will set in. And it's a little bit damp still here, so actually if I pop it down the other way, that might help dry it out a bit more. So I can just feel just the bottom edge where the elastic is still ever so slightly damp. When you're doing the bubble underlay, don't press too hard on it, because you don't want to burst the bubbles, which is obviously your thermal barrier. Again, just keep going around everything and dry it off. The more you can, the better. Again, give this a good tilt to see, make sure you get any water out of the pump. And dry the flex. When you're rolling cables, it's always best to give it a slight turn in the cable so it actually then lays flat. And that way you don't put any strain on the cable, and it's easy to unroll when you next want it, and it won't be knotted. Again, give your top a quick dry off as well. Now a lot of the moisture that I'm seeing here is actually on the inside, so I'm going to try and get that out, because the outside is actually very dry. Yeah, you can just get it out to tease it out of the inlet hole where you inflate it. I might keep this indoors actually, just to allow this to evaporate. I'll probably put this in the garage. What I'm doing is just giving the air valve a bit of a squeeze to open it up so the air comes out a bit easier. Again, don't put too much pressure on anything, because you don't want to actually strain the seams. That I now pop in the garage to keep warm, and hopefully that will encourage any moisture to come out as well. I'll lay it out flat to give moisture the best chance to escape. Now the water's low enough, I can just about move this. I'm going to try and get that drain plug over my actual drain that's over here, if I can. If you've got 2 people to move it, that will be best, but I don't. Just lifting up ever so slightly allows it to come out a bit quicker, because it's not being blocked by the ground sheet. If you can do it with 2 people, or 3. That would be better because you can get 2 people to lift it and 1 person to keep the ground sheet out from being dragged with it, therefore you can get it over a drain easier. But that's going to empty a lot quicker now. Of course, as it gets lower, don't step on the bubbles, you don't want to burst those. So just move that out of the way if you want to get closer. And you can just pick it up now quite easily. And that'll just allow it to flow out that bit quicker. But if you are doing it by yourself, don't overstrain yourself, take it slowly, allow it to drain out as naturally as possible. Alright, that's almost fully drained now, so I'm going to start cleaning the base so I can walk on here and then step inside without taking more dirt in. I wouldn't put the buckets inside here because the bottoms of the buckets could burst the bottom, so just keep them close by and then work your way in and out. And needless to say, be very careful, it is slippery. And don't forget to clean the sides of it as well. I must say the 2 bucket wash system is definitely keeping the clean water much cleaner. So whenever I'm going to wash the car or bike in the future, I'm definitely going to use the 2 bucket wash system. But it's worth it, it makes a difference. Now getting this big one to dry is probably going to be quite a bit of fun because I can imagine there's going to be water on the inside of it as well from the condensation. And you've got the air filter system to pump the air around. Now we've got it up on its side. Again, more of the same, rinse and repeat. Just get as much of the dirt as you can off of it. We will need to take the LEDs out. But start from the top, work your way down to the bottom so you keep washing dirt down rather than have a clean bottom and then wash dirt down to it. And you can see actually some places I don't think I managed to quite get the LEDs to run flat. But when you take the LED lights out, store them as flat as possible in there. See if I can tease them out now. Again, you want to try and avoid twisting them or kinking them. Obviously don't pull on the cord itself, you don't want to damage any of the joints in there. We're going to give this a wipe with a damp cloth afterwards, but for now I'll just pop this out of the way. Wipe that off. This is very much a rinse and repeat process, unfortunately. And then we're going to take the internals out of this and clean both the inside and outside of the air bladder and again the jacket itself, because that will have dirt in between. Again, you want to make sure that all this is bone dry. Alright, I've got another super dry cloth. And I can see there's moisture trapped inside the bladder, so that'll be fun to get out. That's as much as I'm going to get out of there with that, so I'll carry on deflating it, and then again I'll probably pop that back in the garage just to try and help dry the insides of that out. To release the air from the air bladder, there's a little zip pocket around the side here. Here we have the pocket, you just unzip it. To deflate the hot tub, what we need to do is get back the pump unit and some of the extras that we had that we didn't use during setup, which are in this little baggie here. Now the idea of this is that it uses like an air gun type system where it takes the air, flows it over the valve and sucks out the air and hopefully the moisture as well. So this part will attach to the hose. Careful not to cross your threads, and it will blow air through here, which will suck air and hopefully moisture up through here and again push it out, hopefully deflating and drying this nice and quickly. Again, be very careful not to cross the threads. Now it doesn't matter which way you face this because you've got the hose doing the work for us. Now we take this attachment and take this one off by a simple little twist, pull out, that's attached by the bungee, and then push this one in and twist to lock it in place. And now this part will go inside and open the one-way valve. So we unzip this little pocket here, undo the first screw. We've got these little spike bits. Carefully insert it. You may need to give it a little twist to get it to fit. Now here at deflating, but press the bubble. And it's going to start deflating it much quicker as it's sucking the air out, and it's hopefully sucking the moisture out as well. Here you can see it sucking the air out from all around, and hopefully this will vacuum pack it and make it much smaller than you can get if you just try squeezing the air out yourself. Okay, that looks like it's going to get as much of the air out as it's going to. It's really nice and tight and compact. Now what you just want to do is just pull that out and then screw that up again, and that'll keep the air out. Obviously you've got to make sure you've put this black plastic one on first, otherwise air's going to get back in, because that's where the air's normally blown in for the bubbles. It might be a separate chamber system, but just make sure you've done that first as well. And then, whilst it's easy and convenient, zip this back up, and now we can take it out and pack it away. Again, put this all away, just unscrew this from the front. Take your hose off from the deflator. And again, it's a little bayonet fitting, so it's a twist, pull, you might as well reattach that ready for the next time you inflate it. If you've kept your bag, you can pop those back in the bag so you can find those for the next time you need to deflate it. Okay, to deflate this, you don't undo this part at the front, you have to undo this back part. Now it's very, very stiff. I found getting a cloth to get a better grip and then going in there and giving it a very good turn. It feels like you're going to break it, you won't. Just grab hold of this very front part and then turn, keep going, and there we are. Now you've got access to the whole thing, and that's going to let the air out because it seals there and there. That's the inlet valve where the air comes in from your pump from when you're inflating it, and it's a one-way valve, so that's why you've got to take the whole front part off. Again, here's the cap, but just make sure it's clean first of all. Don't cross your threads, and that'll just stop dirt getting in there during winter. You may just need to put some pressure on, and you'll hear it starting to deflate. Now take the bladder out and pop that in the garage. Again, get everything as dry as you possibly can. If I did this a few weeks ago, we would have still had good weather, which could have helped dry it off. So maybe next year a bit more forward planning. I'm going to pop this in the garage to give this a chance to air dry a bit better. And there is water in the air bladder, definitely within the air chambers of it, so that's going to be fun to try and get dry, but you have to do your best. I've had a few more packets of these magic cloths or whatever they're called. That would really have helped. Again, I'm probably just going to leave this in the garage to air dry. Yes, I do know I'm drying on a wet foam base, but it's the only place I've got that I can kneel on it without puncturing it. And it's take your time with all of it. If you pack it away properly, it will last you for years. If you don't bother and you say, oh, it's only a bit of moisture, the number of tents I've seen ruin when I was camping as a child because people didn't bother drying them off after camping season or even after just a particular wet camp. It was amazing that how quickly they can degrade just from moisture being trapped in there. And I'm sure this is going to be no different whatsoever, so take your time, dry it off, get it clean. That way you don't get the damp smell when you first set it up, and you won't get any bacteria building up or any rot that will eat and dissolve the stitching. A simple quick wipe down, oh that will do, it won't do. You've got to make it dry. I know I'm sounding a bit like a broken record constantly saying it, but it is very, very important. Actually, I think the foam tiles I can probably put an air cover to get dry. Again, I could see them degrading if they're wet. That's the worst of that off. So dry the silver bubble wrap base, which is the standard base it comes with the same process that I've done with the top, and I'll think that's all you guys need to see. It's literally just now popping everything away in boxes after it's dried, and that'll be it. I do hope you enjoyed the video. I know it was a bit repetitive and I'm sorry about that, but when it's just literally clean dry, that's all I can show. It's just the important bits was remember to clean it as much as you can, dry it as best you can, try drying it before you deflate it. I've learnt that tip. Don't be afraid of really giving that screw a good turn on the deflating valve, and that's it really. Hope you enjoyed your smart garden this summer. Have a nice relaxing winter, and hopefully you'll enjoy your smart garden next year as well. If you did like the video, please give it a good thumbs up, like, comment and subscribe. Also please remember to click the bell notification icon. If you really liked the video and found it helpful, please consider becoming a patron. I've got a Patreon account as well, or you can just simply buy me a one-off beer as a donation through PayPal. All the links are in the description below. I would appreciate it. Plugging my security systems that I do for Panda. Again, that's through my website. You can see all the security and tech side of tech support stuff that I do. And if you are in England, especially in the southeast, please do give me a shout out if you need any help for any smart home tech. I had a lot of comments on this previous video for this one, and thank you very much for that. I do appreciate the comments. It does help with the video rankings, and it does make me know that people are watching them and enjoying my videos, and it inspires me to do more. So take care guys, see you next time, bye for now.